You've been picturing it over and over. You shut your eyes, feel the emotion, imagine what's ahead, yet nothing really shifts. Or maybe it changes for a brief second, a glimpse, a movement, a tiny confirmation, and then you're back in the same loop, the same thoughts, the same space. If you've ever questioned why your vision feels strong but doesn't take shape, this is why visualization alone doesn't create reality. Frequency does. There's a quantum gap between imagining your future and transmitting it, between seeing what you want and becoming the version of yourself who already lives it in the quantum field. Visualization is just a small piece of the puzzle. The real secret, the hidden pattern, is your frequency. And unless that frequency aligns with the reality you're calling in, it stays out of reach. No matter how clearly you picture it, you've been told to ask, believe, receive. But in truth, the field doesn't answer requests. It reacts to coherence, to energetic truth, to your embodied signal. Not the one you project while meditating, but the one you live through your breath, your decisions, your emotions. Because the universe doesn't listen to what you say, it responds to what you are. That's the code, and once you realize it, once you notice how subtle the shift truly is, everything starts to transform. Not because you forced it or thought more positively, but because you stopped chasing, you stopped asking, you stopped feeding the idea that your dream life was distant, and instead began treating it like a frequency you could align with. Now this frequency, the one unlocking the reality you've been envisioning, isn't imaginary, it's not abstract, it's vibrational, carrying a distinct feeling, calm confidence, steady rhythm. It doesn't rush, it doesn't crave, it doesn't question when change will come. It already knows, because when you act from the identity of one who already has, the field rearranges because it must. So why does that shift feel so challenging? Why is it easy to visualize something beautiful but hard to hold the energy of already mine? Because everything in your past has conditioned you to vibrate in the energy of not yet. You've been trained to wait, to earn, to prove, to deserve. And now, for the first time, you're being asked to let go of all that and simply embody what once seemed like a faraway dream. It feels strange at first, it feels like pretending, but that's only because your nervous system hasn't caught up to your truth. This frequency we're stepping into, it's not new to your soul, it's just unfamiliar to your body. And part of this journey is teaching your body what your soul already remembers. You're not chasing your future, you're realigning with it. You might wonder, but how can I stay in that frequency when nothing around me has changed yet? The answer: you become the change first. You decide, your vibration leads, and evidence follows. You shift focus from what's missing to what's present, from what you desire to what you already are. And as you live that truth day after day, a new energy takes hold. One that doesn't break under pressure, that doesn't fade when life gets noisy again. It becomes your foundation, and that's when the field starts to bend toward you. Not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with it. This is what we're going to uncover in this video. Not just the concept of manifestation, but the frequency that truly activates the life you've been imagining. We'll discuss how to move out of the cycle of scarcity and into the vibration of embodiment. How to act as if without pretending. How to move like it already belongs to you, not to impress the universe, but to exist in harmony with it. Because there's a pattern, a precise energetic rhythm. And once you learn how to tune yourself to it, everything around you begins to respond, softly, powerfully, and consistently. Are you ready to remember how it feels to match the reality your heart has always seen? Then let's dive in. Let's make one thing clear right now. The quantum field doesn't care about what you want. It responds to what you are. It doesn't decode your vision board, or measure your intentions, or count the affirmations you repeat. It simply mirrors the signal you're broadcasting, and that frequency isn't coming from your goals, it's coming from your identity. Not the identity you talk about, but the one you live through. The one that shapes how you enter a room, how you react to quiet, how you carry yourself when nobody's looking. Because in the quantum world, reality isn't something you receive, it's something you create from within. So what does that mean in real life? It means if you visualize abundance but still fear spending, your field is receiving fear. If you visualize love but reject praise or push connection away, your field registers resistance. If you visualize expansion but speak about your life like it's stuck, your field believes you, because the field doesn't interpret your dreams, it reads your alignment. This is why so many people feel stuck on the manifestation path. They're doing all the right things, meditating, journaling, scripting, visualizing, and still nothing lands. Why? Because their thoughts and feelings aren't synchronized. They're trying to manifest from the mind while the body is still signaling fear, doubt, or survival. The result? Mixed signals, and the quantum field mirrors that static. Here's where everything shifts. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions speak the same truth, the field has no choice but to echo it back. This is called coherence. And in that state, your frequency becomes steady, powerful, magnetic. That's when your reality begins to reshape itself. Think of it this way. Desire without identity is just noise. But when your identity merges with your desire, your signal becomes pure, and the field responds not to the wish, but to the wholeness. It responds to certainty. So how do we step into that certainty, especially when no proof exists yet? You create the proof, not outside but within. You start showing up as the version of yourself who already lives the life you've been imagining. You stop waiting to feel accomplished and begin dressing, speaking, and walking like someone who already is. Not because you're pretending, but because you're remembering who you truly are beneath the doubt. Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Joe Dispenza describes it as rewiring and firing new patterns in the mind and body. Greg Braden calls it emotional harmony, but the essence remains the same. You stop striving to become and start being. That's the quantum vibration we're referring to. It's not something you chase, it's something you choose to embody again and again until your nervous system adapts. Until your self-talk stops working against it, until it feels so natural that you forget what lack even felt like. And yes, it takes courage, because stepping into that version of yourself before the world mirrors it back can feel isolating, confusing, even unreal at first. But that's just your old identity trying to hold its place in your energetic field. Let it exist, recognize it, but don't hand it the steering wheel. You're the signal now, the calibration point. You become the origin of the shift, not its outcome. You are the reality. This isn't about pretending to be confident. It's about tuning into the frequency of already being and living from there. It's about teaching your system to feel safe in the space of enough. Because when your subconscious feels safe, your energy expands. And when your energy expands, the field responds. So if you've been trying, pushing, looping, you let that go. You're not here to work harder for your dreams. You're here to realize that the version of you already living them isn't distant. It's simply vibrating on another frequency, steadier, fuller, more integrated. And that version already knows how to move, speak, choose, and feel like it's complete. Because for them, it already is. Now let's go meet that version. We've reached the part most people misunderstand. The moment where everything truly shifts, acting as if. Those two words have been distorted, oversimplified, even mocked. On the surface, they sound like pretending, like forcing, like wearing a mask and hoping the universe believes it. But in truth, acting as if isn't pretending, it's frequency training. When you behave as though it's already yours, you're aligning your body with your desired vibration before the world validates it. You're not waiting for evidence, you're becoming the evidence. And in doing so, you broadcast a clear, consistent signal to the field. I'm ready, I've arrived, match me. This isn't easy. Your surroundings might still reflect the old you. Your bank account might still echo limitation. Your relationships might still mirror old stories. And yet, you're being called to act from the new frequency. Anyway, because that's how energy takes form, not through waiting, but through identity. So, how do you do it? Start small. You don't need to rebuild your entire life. You just need to shift the way you move through it. The way you speak about yourself, the way you carry your body, the way you respond when something beautiful shows up. Do you receive it fully, or do you question if it's real? Each of these tiny moments tells the field what you believe you're worthy of. If you were already living your highest version, how would you wake up tomorrow? What would you wear, even if nobody was watching? How would you breathe, eat, walk, and speak? This isn't about image, it's about energetic posture. Would you still shrink your energy in certain spaces? Would you still apologize for your truth? Would you still silence your intuition just to keep the peace? Or would you begin choosing like someone who truly trusts themselves, like someone who doesn't need to get the thing because they've already become the person who has it? You see, when you shift your frequency, everything downstream begins to realign. That's why some call it quantum shifting, because your smallest choices act like stones dropped into the field, sending ripples far beyond what your eyes can perceive. So instead of asking, when will it happen, ask, how would I move today if I knew it already had? This is where behavior stops being reactive and starts becoming magnetic. When your words, tone, and energy begin matching the reality you've been envisioning, you're no longer trying to attract it. You're simply embodying the version of you that's already aligned. And here's the amazing part. You'll notice the field responding. People treat you differently. New ideas arrive effortlessly. Coincidences begin to line up, not because the universe suddenly chose you, but because your signal became clear enough to cut through the static. You stopped leaking energy into someday and started embodying. Now this is coherence. This is how manifestation truly works. Not by wishing harder or scripting endlessly, but by becoming the signal your future self already vibrates from. And yes, the mind will interrupt. It'll whisper, but we don't have that yet. It'll ask, aren't you being unrealistic? That's not your truth. That's your old self trying to keep you small. Let it speak, then keep moving forward. Because this isn't about convincing anyone else, it's about training your ends. Urge you to believe what your soul already knows. So today, say one sentence as if it's already true. Make one choice like you're already there. Take one step like it's already yours. Because the more you act like it's already yours, the more the field believes you. And when the field believes you, reality bends to meet your frequency. There are moments in this path where everything feels still. You've done the inner work, balanced your energy, stopped chasing, and yet nothing major seems to happen. But deep inside, something has shifted. Your mind feels calmer, your nervous system feels grounded. You start noticing small differences in how you respond to the world. And then it appears, a number repeating again and again. 3 digits that seem to follow you across time, screens, receipts, clocks. It's 777. You might brush it off as coincidence, but a deeper part of you knows it's not random. It's a message, a subtle activation, a mirror of vibration. You weren't searching for a sign, and that's why it came, because the field doesn't respond to need. It responds to resonance. And 777 only shows up when your field is synchronized enough for the quantum to whisper back. It's not announcing that your manifestation is coming. It's confirming that you've become an energetic match for what's already circling you. That the seed you planted, sometimes intentionally, sometimes quietly, is now vibrating at the frequency of bloom. Across spiritual traditions, the number 7 carries sacred meaning, divine truth, intuition, mastery. When it triples, it goes beyond numerology. It becomes a vibrational signature of alignment, not of perfection, but of coherence. It signals that your thoughts, actions, and emotions are no longer in conflict. You're no longer trying to manifest from a body that feels unsafe to receive. You're no longer imagining with your mind while your heart doubts. You've come into harmony, maybe not constantly but consistently enough to change your timeline. In quantum terms, 777 appears when the wave of potential begins collapsing into form. You're still in the field of infinite possibilities, but your signal is pulling reality toward one clear expression, the one you've been tuning to through emotional steadiness and inner alignment. The field has heard you, not through words, but through vibration, and this number isn't a prize, it's a reflection. It doesn't appear to give you something, it appears to remind you of what you've already become. And here's where most people overlook the real power of it. They see 777 as a green signal to relax, to pull back, to think it's handled now. But this moment isn't about stepping away. It's about grounding deeper. It's a threshold. And your role isn't to celebrate too soon or drift back into passivity. Your role is to hold the frequency, stay in the flow, let the field continue syncing with you, without interference. You've probably heard that manifestations happen suddenly, but in truth, nothing in the quantum ever happens suddenly. What seems instant in the physical world was built slowly in the unseen. 777 marks that edge, the delicate meeting point between intention and inevitability. The stage where your reality isn't just coming toward you anymore, it's forming around you. Yet 777 isn't only a sign of alignment, it's also an invitation to deepen your awareness, to stop searching and start embodying, to notice how your body feels right now and ask, is this how the version of me who already lives that reality would feel? Would they rush, doubt, or would they trust the invisible structure building beneath the surface? Because that's exactly what this is, a structural transformation. You're not manifesting a single event, you're rebuilding the architecture of who you are, how you think, move, speak, decide, and feel. The field is responding to that identity, and the number isn't telling you what's next, it's confirming what's here. If you sense that, not just mentally but energetically, if some part of you recognizes this message as real, as precise, as timely, then take a breath and let your system absorb it. Allow your nervous system to feel safe within this confirmation. Let your heart relax into this awareness. You're no longer becoming aligned. You are aligned. The shift isn't approaching, it's settling. What you've visualized isn't a faraway dream, it's a frequency you've finally tuned into. And if you want to anchor that vibration, not just within yourself, but in the shared field of everyone here, drop a 777 in the comments, not as superstition, but as declaration. A quiet way of saying, I feel it, I remember, I'm aligned. Sometimes numbers are just numbers, other times they're language, a reflection, a code, a truth your soul is ready to live. Maybe no one ever told you this, but manifestation isn't the art of getting what you want, it's the art of remembering who you already are. Because every frequency you've been trying to attract, abundance, peace, purpose, love, already exists inside that remembrance. It's not waiting somewhere outside to be earned, it's within you, waiting to be stabilized. And the truth is, you've already touched it before. Fleeting moments of connection, flashes of alignment. Times when the clock seemed to pause and you felt absolute peace for no reason. Moments when your heart opened effortlessly, when words flowed without planning, when decisions came from a deeper knowing. Those weren't coincidences, they were previews of who you're becoming and the life that version naturally magnetizes. Quantum manifestation isn't about forcing those moments to appear more often, it's about expanding your ability to remain in them, to make that state your baseline, to become someone who no longer needs to visualize, because you're already resonating with what you once imagined. And no, that shift won't feel instant, but you'll recognize it in subtle ways. A conversation that flows with perfect timing, a calm heart in the middle of chaos, a decision that feels effortless. These are signs that your signal is stabilizing, that you're no longer reaching for the field. You are the field, merged with it, emitting a steady frequency that no longer negotiates with your past. And this is crucial, because the old identity will still whisper, "You're not ready." Who do you think you are? You need proof first. It will tempt you to collapse back into your old story, but every time you notice that voice, you have a choice. Do I replay the old timeline, or do I hold the new one for one more breath? That's where your true power exists now, not in volume or speed, but in consistency, in how long you can stay in the energy of already mine, not to impress, not to force, but simply because that's who you are now. You're not searching for signs, you've become one. You're not performing worthiness, you're remembering it. You're embodying the energy now, and the universe doesn't need convincing, it simply mirrors what you are. That's the real essence of manifestation. Not about forcing the world to bend to your desires, but aligning your inner frequency so precisely that reality reflects it back with perfect clarity. Not because you're controlling matter, but because you've released resistance, refined your signal, and dissolved the gap between your higher self and the life you're living now. And when that alignment clicks into place, something profound emerges. Peace. Not the rush of excitement, not the spark of adrenaline, just quiet peace. Because you realize you're no longer chasing outcomes, you're allowing them, you're receiving, you're witnessing your own energy returning to you through people, opportunities, clarity, and beauty. There's no transformation greater than this, and the more often you return to this state, the more your nervous system learns it's safe to stay there, not just to visit this frequency, but to live in it, to make alignment your home. Not because everything outside is flawless, but because your inner harmony no longer depends on circumstances. You've absorbed the energy of the field. You've learned to trust it, and it's begun to trust you back. So take a deep breath right now, a real one. Let yourself receive this fully. Allow it to settle into your system, not as new knowledge, but as a remembered truth. Feel your energy relax into the awareness that you've already shifted. You're not waiting for the quantum leap. You are the quantum leap. And if something in these words reached you at exactly the right moment, if it helped connect that missing piece you've been reaching for, maybe this isn't just another video, maybe it's a mirror, showing you who you're becoming. A reminder that the vibration you've been visualizing isn't theory anymore, it's reality, and you're finally living it. If that resonates, if it feels right, then stay connected here, not out of obligation, but because it aligns with your energy. Because this isn't merely a channel, it's a frequency, and if you noticed your breath slowing or your body softening as you listened, you're already tuned in. We're not just watching content here, we're rehearsing new realities. We're not simply consuming, we're shaping potential into form. We're not just learning, we're remembering. And I'm grateful you're here. Let's keep expanding together.